Alrighty, hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. We are continuing on with our tow truck build. So what I've done is I've just taken the model and I grouped it together. And I added these just a couple of blocks on the back here. So what we need to do is we need to weld all this together. What I want to do first is I want to take this part, and this part. And this part here. I may as well, I won't do those because we're going to attach the lights to it. Then what I just want to union that together. And then what I can do is we'll weld everything else to the union. And then that way we'll just, it's just I just want to test it just to see if we can if I can drive, if there's anything that's clipping into the wheels unnecessarily. It's funny that it uses this slope as the, you know, when you select it. It's just kind of silly. All right, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to weld this to itself. And because all this is going to need to be here, I'll just take the one weld and I'll do that. All this is going to have to be worked on here. The cylinders, I still don't know how we're going to make the cylinders work. I'd like to get them to extend and contract. I don't know how to do that. We'll have to figure that out. Let's see, what do we got? This one here, and this one here. This one here, and this one here, and this one here. Basically like that. There's still a couple of things that need to be added, right? We need the stabilizer here, and we need a stabilizer there. Okay, so I think everything's got, oh no, it looks like I missed a couple of parts. Those are welded from the other side, and that part there, let's see if I can, it wouldn't let me weld it, so that must be welded together. Show welds. Let's see here, let's just quickly see if it's all welded together. It is, yeah, perfect. Okay, so now what we can do is we can take this here, and then I'll just weld it to the smokestack. And then we want to take, I just called it tow bed, and then we're going to put it in the tow truck, and we'll put it inside the miscellaneous, and then that way, there we go. Now when we get it, it's going to give me some errors because we don't have the light. But I want to make sure we can drive. Oh yeah. Quite well, actually. So that's good, that works. There isn't any clipping going on in the wheels. That was my main concern. Okay, so let's get started on, let's design the interface. Now this isn't going to be anything fancy. I'll work on it and we'll improve it. But for now we just need a screen with a frame, and we're just going to add buttons to it. So we're going to insert object. Let's insert a frame. Then we also need an object value. And we also need a local script as well. And then I'll get rid of a chassis so we don't confuse ourselves. And then what we want to do is just move it over here for now. Okay. We are going to insert an object, a UI list. Now, there's going to be different, we're going to have one control for the lights, and then we'll have a separate, maybe you'll click a button and it'll open up a separate window, and that'll be the controls for the back and all that, because there's gonna be a lot of controls that we're gonna need for here, right? So maybe we'll separate it. We'll separate it in here. So for now, we're just gonna insert a couple of buttons, and then that way we can just so we can test it. And so this button here, let's see, what can this button do? What's going on? Having some issues lately with this. All right, here, we'll get rid of that weld because I'm not too sure where that's the weld is. Oh yeah, okay, that can work for now. We can temporarily weld this together. These are going to be later changed, and the hooks are going to hang from there. So for now, what we want to do is we want this to slide. We want this to slide. So let's take this and this part here, and we'll move it here. Now those parts are welded to this, so it should go. Okay, now what we want to do is we just need to insert a prismatic, and that's going to go between here and here. Yeah, perfect. And then we're going to take this one here, copy its position. Okay, and then what we'll do is we'll set, let's get to name this a crane. And that way we can find it, because it's going to go miscellaneous tow bed crane. Just for now. All we're doing is this is just a test, so we can set up the interface and make sure that we're able to interact with the truck. That's all we're doing. We're not going to get too fancy yet. And then here it looks like, as you can see, that there's the direction of travel. It's going to go this way. So we may have to tell it to travel at -1. And then what we'll do is we'll put the limits enabled, so it will go out to 5. We can probably make that 8. And then let's see if we'll turn this to -1, and I'll just press play and let's see if it should extend out. Oh yeah, see, it's trying to extend out, but it can't. I'm not too sure why. Let's try it like that then. Maybe that's what it needs to do. No, it's going the opposite way. Okay. -1. I wonder if it might be easier just instead of just do this. No, hold on a second here. Oh, you know what? It probably is after they set can collide false. That's probably why I can't move. It's colliding with itself. Okay, you see it went backwards? I always have trouble setting these things up. Yeah, you see it's trying to go in. I don't know why it doesn't want to extend. This is the crane here. That is not collidable. I wonder if it's these things. If they need to be in there. I don't think they do, but let's try it out. It shouldn't have to be. It's going backwards. It's going backwards, I see, so I might have to set this to -8. Upper limit, -8. Is that right? And then it'll have to go, oh, there we go. See, there we go. It's extending now. Cool. Well, that's cool. Okay, so now that we have that established, what we want to do is we want to make sure that the interface can do that. So, what do we need to do? Let's go into our local script, And we need a couple of variables, and we need to say truck equals, and then what I want to do, I want to rename this value to truck, right? Truck equals script dot parent dot truck dot value, and then we want to say local UI because there's going to be a few of them. So this will be crane UI equals, and we'll say script dot parent, and then what we'll do is let's rename this frame to crane, script dot parent dot crane, and then that way we'll have a couple, right? We'll have a couple here, but we're just working on the crane for now, and then we'll get it all together. This is going to be a few. It's going to be a few hours here of coding and just sort of testing and setting it up. And then after that, I'll sort through it, and yeah. So just bear with me here if you're following along. It'll all make sense. Okay, so we need to say crane UI. Let's change this button to extend. XTEND. We'll do that. Okay, crane UI. I will say dot extend. Now we're going to say mouse button 1 down. So we're going to have two functions. We're going to have one when the mouse button is pressed and one when the player releases the so let's see. So we'll say crane dot extend. We say mouse button 1 up is going to be the next function. All right. So and why are we doing that? Well, we're doing that because what we need to do is we need to weld this together. This needs to have a weld in it. This is going to be our lock, basically. Let's see, we can weld it to there. And then we can name this lock, just like that. Right? So when we're extending it, this is going to be false. And then as soon as we let go of the button, this will be engaged again. And then that way, this constraint will stop wherever it is, and it's not going to move. And we'll be able to add weight to it, and it's not going to slide around on us and do some crazy stuff. So now what we want to do is we want to say truck, and then we want to say fire server, okay, and then we want to give it a variable. Once the variable, we want to say out, and then down here the variable is going to be out stop, just like that. That's it, okay. So now we need to go inside the truck. I usually pick the miscellaneous folder. We need to insert an object. We need a remote event, and we need a script. Insert object, we need a script. All right, and now what we need to do is we need to say, we'll change this remote event to functions. All right, and then we'll say script.parent.functions, and then we want to say on server event. Functions on server event, right? Connect function. And then in here we want to say player and variable. And now we want to say if variable is equal to out. Then what do we want it to do? We'll say script.parent .tobed .crane, and then we want to say .crane .prismatic constraint .prismatic constraint .velocity equals -1, just like that. Now what we also need to do is we need to turn the lock off. So we need to say, we could create variables for this, but this is the easiest way to do it. Script.parent .tobed .crane, I want to say .lock .enabled equals false. And then what we're going to do is we're going to wait just a split second, and then we will allow the prismatic constraint to go. Okay, now we need the second variable, which is going to be the out stop variable. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take this, and this is going to go down here, and this is going to say true, and then we're also going to wait a split second after we let go of the button. And the velocity here, we're just velocity 0, and then it locks itself. So that's the basics behind that. So the last thing we need to do is we need to make sure, we need to clone this to the player, so that way it all works. So how do we do that? Well, this is kind of where, let's see. So we go into a chassis and we go to initialize. If we scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll see where the driver sits in the vehicle. And you'll see here, we have G equals script.parent a chassis interface clone. So we're gonna add our own. We're gonna say local, and I'll say GG. Well, actually, let's do this. Truck UI equals, and where are we going to place the interface? Honestly, we'll take the screen GUI and we're going to place it just inside miscellaneous, and we can actually rename this truck functions. Okay, so we need to say truck equals, now we can say script, is it, yeah, .parent dot miscellaneous dot truck functions, and then we will say this, we'll say clone. All right, and then we want to say truck UI dot parent equals, and then we just use this CP dot player, because they use P as a way to reference the player, so we'll just use that again, P dot player GUI. Just like that. Now the last thing we need to do is we need to say script dot parent dot misc dot functions. Oh, is that right? Equals I need to check on this one. Let's open up file. The garbage truck treasure. I always get this one confused. So what we have to do is we have to tell the code that this remote event equals the object value in the user interface. So that way when we press the button, the value of the object value is the name of the variable, and that'll allow us to fire the server. If you don't do it that way, you can't fire the server that way. So yeah, you see that we have it here, the trailer functions. So when it clones it, where is it? When it clones it, what is it doing here? GUI.trailer.value, and then we do that. So that's what we need to do. All right. So we need to say truck UI dot truck. Oh, let me open that up again. I thought I had it, but I didn't. It's either truck dot value. Let's see here. Yeah. So basically, we're saying that the value of the object value is equal to the remote event, and that's it. And then we're kind of trick. That's what we do. We kind of trick the code. Truck GUI dot truck dot value, and then we want to say equals script dot parent dot miscellaneous dot functions, just like that. We have to tell the code. That, and that's it. Now what we've done is we've bound this remote event to this value here. So with all that in mind, let's see if it's gonna work. When we get inside here, it should clone. There it is. And then there you go, just like that. Okay. Excellent, 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 excellent. Easy peasy. So that's how you, I guess, add to a chassis. And now all we need to do is continue to build the truck, continue to add the functions, and the rest pretty much writes itself, really. So what I want to do next is let's just get these doors working. They're pretty easy. I'll just put a click detector inside each one of them. Let's see here. There, and there, and there, and there. Okay, so we'll start with this one on the side. So what we want to do is we just need to create a hinge between there and there. Is it going to let me? Why is it not? Why is it doing that? This game sometimes. Alright, I don't know why I can't. So stupid. It's this one here. Insert object. I actually have to manually insert an attachment. I don't know why it's not letting me do this here. Why can't I do that? What's wrong? That worked. Really? So as you can see, these are some of the problems that I have with Roblox. It's just kind of, this is for me. This is the stupidity of working with Roblox. Sometimes you've got the constraints there, we've got the attachments there, but it won't let me. I don't know why. I don't know why that's not working. So now what do I do? Kind of ridiculous, if you ask me. Does it have to be off a little bit? It might have to be out just a little bit. I can't attach it anywhere on the back of the truck. Why? I can attach it to the tire. Well, we don't want to attach it to the tire. Why can't I? I wonder if it's because it doesn't make any sense. Because it's a union. I don't know. So now what the heck am I supposed to do? Insert object. It's kind of ridiculous. It's not going to let me make this attachment. Oh boy. Position. Why is it? Oh, okay. Just breathe. Just breathe for a moment. As you can see, I'm getting really frustrated here. What the F is going on? So I wonder if I can do this then. Yeah, I can do that. For some reason, it's not letting me. It's just being really stupid. Let's put it that way. So now what I got to do is I'll just take this part, screw it, and then I'll just weld it onto here. Oh, I know what I'll do. I know what I'll do with this part here. There's what we'll do. Here's what we'll do. Here, I'll just do this like this. And then this can be like, I don't know, just something kind of stupid. Make it like diamond plate or something. That'll work. There we go. Right? Something like that. And then we'll have to weld it to there. And then we'll have to duplicate that. And we'll make another one on this side. That's what we got to do. That's what we gotta do. It is what it is. It is what it is. Okay. Just so long as it works, right? Like I say, I don't understand sometimes. Anyways. So, now what we need to do is we need to take this constraint. We'll take its position. Grab this one here. Boom, just like that. Now inside, we're going to there's two hinge constraints. Delete that one. Insert object, click detector, insert object, a script. And we're going to tell the script to wait. Just like that. And we're going to say local button equals script dot parent dot click detector local lock equals script dot parent dot welds constraint, and we're going to say local hinge equals script dot parent dot hinge constraint. Excellent. Now we're going to say button dot mouse click connect function, and what do we want it to do? We want to say lock, no, not local, lock dot enable equals false. Oh, and then we want to do this. We want to say local, I want to say click equals false, and we'll say if click is equal to false, then click equals true. Okay, we'll get rid of that. We'll say if is equal to true, then, and then we can have one end here, and then we'll say else click equals false. All right. So now what we want to do is we want to say it false. We'll let it wait just a split second, and then we'll say we need to set up the hinge constraint. So just probably make it a motor. Leave the acceleration alone. Change the torque on it. And we'll say limits enabled. Which way do we want to go? Probably 180. We don't want it to go 45. It's going to go, I think the upper angle is going to be 180. And then the lower angle is going to be 0. Is that right? Let's take a look at it. First off, let's just have it go. Let's see what it does. It should open. Oh, it's not going to open because the lock is enabled. So we'll have to get rid of this. We'll make that false for now. I'll sip my coffee. Okay. It worked, but it seemed to rotate the other way. I would seem to do things backwards here. No, that's 1, 0. Let's try that. Oh, it's trying to go that way. So this angular velocity should be -1. Yeah, there we go. Just like that. Perfect. So the door opens up. And then what I did notice here is that we actually do have a button here that I can't click on. Oh boy. So in there, I think I renamed it to handle. Yeah. And what we're going to do is we're just going to duplicate that. I was just going to throw on here just for something like that. And this handle here can actually go into miscellaneous. close that, and we are working on that union there. So the handle can actually just go over here, and then that way it's part of that. Perfect. And then now we can enable this, and let's test. Okay, so back to the code. So we will say hinge dot angular velocity, and what do we have to set the angular velocity? Was it -1? -1. Okay, and then we'll set this to 0. So when we click on it, it should open up. Let's try that first off to see if it's going to open. Nice. Just like that. Perfect. And then when we click on it again, we want it to do the opposite. Click equals false. See, then here we could just tell it to wait, like I don't know, and then it could leave, but we don't have to turn the weld back on because obviously you're not going to be opening the doors while you're driving. So we can say click equals false. We could say hinge dot angular velocity equals 1. And now this one here, we can tell it to wait like 10 seconds. And then we can say lock dot enabled equals true. So it should be something like that. Let's test that out. We should be able to open it and close it. So it's going to open for us. And it should close for us. Cool. Just like that. Open. Close. Close, that's it. Nice. And if we look at the weld, tow truck, miscellaneous, tow bed, I don't know which, oh, it is that one, nice. There we go, it's enabled. So when you click on that, so it goes false. So that's pretty much that. All right, now we got to do this one here. Duplicate that. This is that one there. Each one needs to be welded, right? Just like that. And then basically we do the same thing. We're gonna create a hinge between there and. Can we do that? Oh, don't tell me you're gonna be all stupid again. I don't know why it does this stuff sometimes. It doesn't make any sense. We'll pull it off just slightly. Just like that. All right, and then I want to create a hinge between there and there. Oh man, don't do this to me. Roblox, don't. Are you kidding me? Do I have to make a part every single time? I don't know why it's not letting me create a hinge. Bloody hell. All right, so we'll insert another attachment. And this is going to be door 2. And then let's insert object, hinge constraint. We got to do this the old-fashioned way, and then we'll say attachment 0 is there, and attachment 1 is there. That's how you got to do it when it's being when it doesn't want to work like that. And that one we need to rotate. There we go. Exciting. Fun times. Okay, same thing. I'm just going to actually copy this script and I'm going to paste it in here. About the only thing that might change is the rotation on the hinge. It shouldn't, but it might. Motor, we'll say limits enabled, max motor torque. No, come on, let me select the right one. Thank you. So this is going to be 0, and this is going to be minus 180. Let's try that. See if that's going to work. Perfect. Just one slight issue. one slight issue with that. Maybe that's the way it's got to be rotated. Yeah, so sometimes you just kind of got to slow down a little bit and just focus on the constraints a little bit. Make sure they're in the right direction. There we go. It's a little low. You notice that? It's a little, the hinge could go up. We want it to be right on top of, needs to go up to there. And probably end up changing this one as well. I want to be right on top. Just like that. And of course we can add sound, right? You can add a sound like a sort of door sound. There you go. And I see it rotates right on that spot. Cool. Nice. All right. Which door is next? That door there is next. Okay, so let's get this handle. Let's duplicate that. Maybe this door is going to open to the side. That's that one there. There we go. Now we need the script in there. We need a click detector. And then again, we need to create a hinge. I wonder if I can create a hinge for this one. Hinge. No. So in here, we insert another attachment. Insert object attachment. All right, this will be door 3. All right. Insert object, hinge constraint. Okay, now this attachment here, we're going to pivot right on the outside. Okay, so hinge constraint. Let's see. Attachment 0 there. Attachment 1 there. This one needs to be rotated. Like that. Oh, and then it also is going to need to be rotated like that, I can see. So, take this position. Take this position. Like so. Seems to be right on the edge. Okay, alright, let's give it a test. See if that's, oh, you know what, I didn't set up the hinge constraint actually. This is gonna need to be a motor, and we'll say limits enabled, and give it maximum motor torque. And this one here is gonna be 0. This one here, minus 180. On the other side, it's gonna be plus 180, I would imagine. Oh, we don't want it to go that way. Okay, so we just need to reverse the like that, and then we may need to change the hinge constraint. 180, and let's try that like that. There we go. So now it comes out that far. I don't know if we wanted to completely come out that far. Instead of 180, we could do maybe 160. Yeah, there we go. And it doesn't quite go all the way. Nice. And it looks like 0 is just a little too much. So we'll change the lower angle to maybe 1 degree. Oh, that actually should be minus 1, I think. Oh no, that's perfect. There we go. Perfect. All right. Just like that. Okay, what's going on? Is that door in the way? Oh, Roblox. What's wrong with you? Why doesn't that one work now? What the heck is going on? Oh, it has no code. Oh boy. Copy. Paste into issues. It is midnight after all. I should probably go to sleep. Alright, so we can open up that door, open up that door, open up that door. Yeah, there we go. Cool. Alright, let's finish up with that door there. What's our runtime on this one? What are we at? 45 minutes. Yeah, you see, nothing's really easy. Nothing's really easy. Okay, so we need to add another attachment. Insert object. Attachment. Alright, and this is going to be door 4. And now, that's probably going to be rotated this way. So let's create another attachment. Insert object. Attachment. Yikes. Just want to make sure that we want to make sure that we're just right on top of this here. We want to be right on top. And we want to make sure that the yellow one is, because that is the center of the pivot. It's going to pivot this way, or it's going to pivot that way. Those two golden arrows represent the center of the pivot. Okay, and then, so we're not using this one anymore. So that's this door here. Okay, let's duplicate this handle. Let's do that. Let's rotate it. Like that. We'll get rid of this. Let's create a new weld into there. And then we're gonna what's this one here? What's that one? All right, insert object, click detector, insert object, wait, the hinge constraint. Okay, and now we're gonna say attachment 0 can be there. Attachment 1 can be there, doesn't really matter. That one needs to be rotated like that. And then it needs to be like that. And then we need to take this one, take its position, this one, take its position. I know we kind of set up the interface, tested it, and then we just started working on the truck. I could have done this first. But I just wanted to get the interface out of the way because sometimes you can have issues with that. So I hope with that you've now learned, you know, how to add an interface. Yeah, why not? Okay. So now we're gonna let's get rid of this. Get rid of this. Let's copy this one here. Okay. Let's paste it into here. We don't want to drag it in there. We want to paste it, and then let's set this up. It's gonna be a motor. And we'll get max motor torque, obviously. Now, from here, we can say limits enabled. Let's try that, and let's try that. Let's just see what happens here. I will reverse these. -1 and 1 back to the original settings. Should be the opposite of the other door. Nope. It is not. Cool. All right, let's give it a test. Oh, and yeah, we'll see if it sits at 0. If it doesn't sit at 0, we can tell it to sit at 1 degree off of. All right, now it's not moving at all. So this probably needs to be 180, and this probably needs to be 1. There we go. Not 180, it could be 160. That one actually can open all the way up to 180. It seems like it's clear. And then we should sit at about 1 degree. Yeah, excellent. Just like the other door. There we go. And then we'll put equipment in here. I do have a fire truck which has some equipment in it. So what I'll do is I just take the equipment out of the fire truck, like a generator and some chains and whatever, whatever else. Nice. Awesome. So that is going to pretty well do it for this video. We just need to do the same thing to the other side. We'll probably do it on my own time. And it's work on this interface. Put it somewhere and we can get the interface working. So yeah, so let's recap what we did. We built the interface, we gave it some values. And then we edited the initialize script in a chassis. We found where the driver sits in the vehicle. And then we added some code so that way our interface would be cloned to the player, just like the A chassis interface. Now also in this, I might design a fuel system just to show you how you can make a fuel system. And this is where you'll add whether the vehicle moves or not, depending on how much fuel is in the vehicle. But we'll go over that probably in the next video. There really isn't too much left. I'll finish the doors on my own here. And then when we start the next video, we'll start with the interface and doing the coding. Yeah, and then that way everything hopefully will work out. So, thank you so much for watching. This will be part 2. We made the doors and we created an interface. And I will see you all in the next one.